Good morning, my lovelies. How are you doing? Hope you're really well. I wanted to talk this morning about, as often as I move through the week, certain things come up again and again and again, and it's of no coincidence really. It's always good to share these common themes because often we're all going through very similar feelings. And I wanted to talk this morning about anxiety and resistance and fear and this sort of inner turmoil that can often come when we are up leveling, when our soul needs to grow. The anxiety often happens when our soul wants to grow. And this is what I found through, at each stage when I felt a calling from my soul, huge resistance has come up. It feels very uncomfortable. And I'm now very aware that this is happening, as opposed to labelling myself as I'm just anxious, I suffer with anxiety. So I want to kind of help to break it down. Do say hi if you're watching live. It's always really lovely to say hi to you and come together. I've got a buttermint tea this morning. So when we feel this calling, when the soul wants us to grow and up level, our head will say no. Okay, our head tells us no, because we haven't yet adjusted to the new frequency that is required to match our desire, to match our calling, to match this pull in a new direction. Because it's new to us, our head wants us to keep safe and pull back. Okay, so the fact that we're being pulled, we're being drawn, we have this desire. Hi, Amanda. It's like we're being pulled in one direction, and yet the head's going, no, stay back, be safe, don't go there, you don't know what's going to happen, stay small. And we've got this resistance between the two going on. And we can really get stuck in that anxiety because the head is so loud. The head's so loud. This is the problem that we have. The mind speaks so loudly, and our heart, which is so gentle and true and loving and knows the way, is so patient and persistent. And it's not always quiet, but this is very very loud. So we can easily get stuck in this and swirl around and around and around in confusion because we're being pulled in these different directions, and we can get stuck there for a long time. Okay, and we can label ourselves as being anxious, and we can also hide behind that label of anxiety as well, because if I just tell the world that I'm just an anxious person, then I don't have to move in that direction of growth. I can stay here and I could just hide behind that label. But there is another way. And the other way is to love ourselves through the growth. And this is really a different way of looking at life, moving through life, to love ourselves through this growth process. Because there's no getting away from it. The growth needs to happen, and if we suppress the growth, the desire for growth, we get depressed. Okay, we hold it all down, we bury it, and then we resent, and then we blame, and we go around in this horrible spiral. So the growth needs to happen, undoubtedly. The soul wants to grow, and with each calling for growth comes resistance. And that resistance is not only in our heads, but often it's outside too. It's from outside influences, it's from other people that say, be careful, don't do that, I don't know about that. So as well as this loud voice saying, don't go there, don't do that, don't we also have other people's opinions and their stuff, their fears. And, you know, what we need to realise and remember as well from external influences is that when somebody says, I don't think you can do that, I don't know how you're going to do that, I don't think you can do it, be careful. What they actually mean is, I can't see how I could do that. I don't know how I could do that, and so don't do it. Okay, so again, it's being very aware. It's being able to step back and see the truth. So what we really need to do is focus on the inside stuff. Get it soothed, get it sorted so that we can move forward, and then that love can ripple out. It can reach those other people when they're ready for it, whatever. We need to focus on ourselves and how to move forward. So when I think about when major resistance has come up for me, tiny little fly flying around, things like, some examples in my life have been when I felt this calling, when I felt the call to leave the corporate world and leave paid employment and move into a completely different way of working and of living, working for myself, which was my soul's calling. It was my soul's calling to work with people, to help people through, you know, difficult times. That has been my soul's calling. So when that comes up, of course, we're going to meet huge resistance. Another example was the calling to homeschool Max. It was in my heart. I knew it was the right way. I knew it was something I needed to do. It was a calling. But of course, with that, huge resistance comes up. Well, how are you going to do it? How are you going to make that work? And of course, other people, oh dear, oh, aren't you scared about, oh, I don't know how you're going to, oh, how's that going to work? The mind can't work out how it's going to work, but we need to listen to the calling and know that as the journey unfolds, we're going to work it out, we're going to be shown. So there is faith involved here. And recently, and what I want to share with you, a personal experience from this weekend is, you know, a calling at the moment to really help with an outreach project with our local homeless folk. And it's something that my heart wants to be involved with. It's something that I'm being called to do. And the further I get involved, I can see ways that I can help. So, of course, because that's going to take up time, like the homeschooling takes up time, as well as, you know, working and all of that. The mind says, no, you can't spend too much time. You can't put your energy there really too much, because, you know, you're going to be less of a mum. You're going to be less of a wife. You're going to be less of a therapist. You're going to be less of a coach. Someone's going to suffer the more energy you put out there. So just be careful, rein it in. But actually in my heart, what I'm feeling at the moment is that pretty much everything that I've learned over the last decade, tools, techniques, ways, I can package up and I can actually gift to these folk if they want to receive the gift, of course. But it feels like a calling. So on Saturday, I had all of these ideas whirring around in my mind as to how I could help and what I could do and, you know, what we could try. And I was being pulled in that direction by my heart. And my mind was saying, be careful you don't give too much. Be careful you don't get exhausted. Look, you're feeling tired now. See, you're feeling tired. And I ended up with quite a bad headache. I had a pain behind my left eye. I had this battle going on within me. And I could notice it, and I could observe it, and I could see it for what it was. I could see that my fears were saying, be careful, you're going to get exhausted, there isn't enough of you to go round, all of this stuff. It was so loud. But I also felt in my heart that I need to trust where I'm being pulled. And so this was kind of confusing because I had the two going round. Now, fortunately, I had a coaching call on Saturday. So I work with a coach called Alison Crowe. She's fabulous. She's in the States. It's a group coaching session. I hopped on the call and I took with me the desire to allow this to just become clear. So I turned up with a headache. I turned up with this pain behind my eye. And I turned up with a desire to find a better way of looking at it. And my laptop wouldn't load in time, and I was just a few minutes late onto the call. It didn't matter, but as a result, I didn't hear the first lady who was being coached. I didn't hear what her struggle was. So I heard the coaching session unfold, but I didn't know the details. But that didn't matter, because I took with me the desire to find a better way, and that's all I needed to take with me. And I also showed up. I showed up for me. I showed up for this situation to become clear. I showed up and allowed myself to be held in this safe space where people weren't going to say to me, oh, be careful, be careful. People were going to hold space for me. And as it happened, I didn't even need to be coached. I didn't need to be coached, because as I showed up, as I relaxed into that space and just listened, some really powerful messages came through. Two from my heart and one spoken by Alison as she coached this other lady. And I wrote these down, these sentences that came immediately into my mind. So the first one was, my love can't run out because I am love. My love can't run out because I am love. The second message that came through was, my energy can't run out because I am energy. That's what I'm made of. I am energy. So my energy can't run out because I am energy. And then the third message which came through Alison was, I can do difficult. I can do difficult. I can do difficult. And those three things enabled the pain to just release. And I shed a few tears and I just let go of this need to have it all, you know, to be able to see everything in the future and have it all clearly scheduled and see how it was all going to pan out. I don't need any of those things. I just need to listen to my heart. And I need to shine love on the anxiety. I need to shine love on the fear. I need to shine more love on all of the discomfort that arises, because that's how we move forward. We need to soothe the anxiety. We need to love the anxiety better so it can heal. We need to love the discomfort. It's only love that can heal. It's only love that can turn this around. Not labelling, not hiding, not blaming, not sitting back and not acting. All of those things keep us stuck. and it feels dark, doesn't it? It feels dark to be in this stuck place. But actually, we just need to look at the discomfort, and then it can be brought to light, then it can be soothed, then we can move forward. And interestingly, you know, last week, so many things fell into place for me. So many things happened with ease. They didn't take struggle. And I was being shown that life doesn't have to be a struggle. It doesn't have to be. You know, John's job secured. Two clients, committed clients, appeared and said, can I join your coaching program in October? Max's homeschooling, I was, you know, a little bit like, oh, I don't know which way to take it when we start back in September. An answer was given to me, it was shown, and it all fell into place. So we don't have to struggle, we don't have to strive, we don't have to, I'm not saying don't act, we do have to act. But if we can get in flow, we can act when we're shown. So we have an infinite supply of love. It's the truth of who we are. We have an infinite supply of energy. It's who we are. The only thing that gets in the way of that is this fear-based mind, and that's what needs soothing. So when I'm willing to love these challenging situations as they arise, life gets better, life gets easier. When I'm willing to love my fears and soothe them, life gets better. That's what we need to be doing. Love is always the answer. So, you know, I'm sharing that because it's a scenario that is personal to me, but we can apply this to any situation. We can apply it to any situation where we're called to grow, therefore anxiety arises, and therefore we can swirl and swirl and swirl in that place. And, you know, I could have focused on that discomfort. I could have focused on the anxiety. I could have stayed there for days, for weeks, for months, for years even, and stayed there and labelled it as something. But because I allowed myself to be held in that space where I could look for a new perspective, because I knew it wasn't true, because it didn't sit peacefully in my heart, I knew it wasn't true. So, you know, love was showing me the answer all along. And it always does. We just have to make that space. And if we can't hear it on our own, then it's so beautiful to be held in a space where others can help us too. Okay, so that's what I want to share with you this morning. The fact that we all know anxiety, we all know discomfort. We can't always control circumstances. Yes, we can change them sometimes, but often we just have to learn to go with them, to move around them, and actually to love them more. So yeah, in you know, another calling recently when I was on holiday was to hold space for 3 women in August. I didn't know who they were going to be. I didn't know what their scenarios were. I just had a calling to hold space for 3 women. So that's underway and it's beautiful. And when they bring their willingness and their openness to the table, wow, magic unfolds. It can happen. And yeah, I then felt that in October I wanted to do the same thing, but this time for 3 people. Didn't matter whether they were men or women. And already 2 of those spaces have been filled. So I'm just mentioning that because if you feel called to work with me in October and for me to hold that space for you, for your transformation, I'd dearly love to do that for you. So you can just get in touch, because I know the power of being held in that space, and it's my joy to hold that space for you guys if you want that. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Actually, I'm going to pull an angel card for the week ahead. I'm going to pull a quick card for the week ahead, and I'm going to ask probably my favourite question ever that I love to ask in the morning, which is, what would love have me do today? What would love have me do today? And I'm going to ask the question, what would love have us do today as the collective? So whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on replay, doesn't matter. This is for you. What would love have us do today and this week? And the card is Counsellor. You are a natural counsellor, and many people benefit from your guidance and reassurance. Now, look at this card. We have the person, and we have a higher perspective. And this is what is needed in the world. A higher way, a higher perspective. That is our counsel. That is where the answers come. Not from this part of the mind, but from a higher loving source. And that loving source exists within you too. It's not, you know, often we can put our all of our power in an external loving source, and we can say, oh, when the time's right, this will be given to me, or I'll just sit back and wait. But actually, this source, this loving force runs through us. We are a shard of that. That is our truth. And when we tune into that part of us, that is the wisest counsel, because we connect to oneness, to unity, to God, whatever you wish to call it, that higher state of being. And that is where we need to be. That's where we're all being called. And we'll never get to that place in fear. Okay, so take from that card what you will. We are all counsellors. We can all offer a higher loving perspective to others, and also to soothe that fear-based part of us that can be so loud and ever present, actually. So I hope that helps you. I send you loads and loads of love. I wish you a fabulous week. I look forward to connecting with you really soon. Take great care. Don't forget to love every part of you and soothe yourself so that you can raise your vibration to meet with your desire, and then you can move forward in love and in light. Loads of love. Bye for now.